How does an income statement or a profit and loss statement help me run my business better? Well, first, let's understand what a profit and loss statement is. Most people would think that it's probably the most important statement of all the different kinds of financial statements that there are to review. I would say it's the second most important one, and we'll deal with the first most important one in a subsequent video. But it's important to recognize that when you set goals, those goals are more likely to come about than when you don't set any goals. And what you pay attention to tends to come to fruition more than other things that you don't pay attention to. So a big reason for studying your profit and loss, studying your income statement, the same document, really has to do with setting targets and measuring or managing to those targets. The other thing is it helps you to make sure that you're on the right track, because there are a lot of things that could be going wrong that you just simply aren't aware of until you dig into the numbers. So let's take a look. First thing, the top line, you got revenue, all your new money coming in. Now, revenue sounds great, and that's just perfect, and I love revenue, and revenue comes straight from sales and marketing. So you have to generate a lot of sales. But if the sales aren't profitable sales, then making sales is not good for you. If you lose money on every widget that you sell, stop selling widgets, because that's not working out for you. Here's the deal, is that you have to understand how much it costs to sell whatever it is that you're selling. So if you're selling a widget, then you need to know exactly what it costs, either what you buy it for, how much time went into it, how much manufacturing went into it, whatever it is, you have to understand that so you can be profitable. Now, profitability in a services firm could be 2/3. You might have 2/3 profitability because you got to pay somebody a salary for rendering their service. And a lot of times service companies work at 3, 5, or even 10 times cost. So you might have 20, 30% cost, and you might have 70, 80% margin, gross margin left over on those services. But in a manufacturing environment, you probably have a much higher cost. So here's the important part about this, is that you can't just take one rule and say cost should always be 60%, and then you look at some different things and they're never the same. You have to be able to be a little sensitive to the nature of the industry that you're in, the nature of the environment that you're in, the amount of profitability that you have. But if you can be sensitive to that, then these numbers all make sense. The most important thing is that you're in line with people who are similar to you in your industry. So if you want some industry standard material, then you want to look at other people's materials, ask them what their profitability, what their margins are, and get a sense about that. You can look and see what large companies have as margins, but large companies and medium and small companies are really not related in this way, because large companies have efficiencies and economies of scale that littler companies, even large, medium-sized companies, let's say a $500 million company, just doesn't have, because they don't have the buying power, let's say, of a Fortune 500. So you have your margin, and once you get to margin, then you subtract out your operating costs, whatever your operation costs are, and that leaves you with profit. And if you don't have enough profit, then you just don't stay in business for very long, because negative profit has to be subsidized by something. That means you got to take cash out of the bank to pay for the losses, and that's not a good thing. The other thing is that the executives, the business owners, need to take salaries. Very frequently, those salaries are taken before the calculation of profit. So you want to make sure that there's lots of money available to pay those salaries and to make sure that those are taken care of. And then if there's anything left over, that would be paid out in bonuses or dividends or some kind of aftermarket type of payout. So there's lots more we can discuss, and we will discuss that, but I want to give you the inside track on how to look at different kinds of issues related to profits and loss, and that's the way I want you to profit from the inside.